Good morning, Jackrabbit Club members, and welcome to another video where we're going to take a look at our portfolio for Saturday, September 23rd, 2017. Let's get over to the right charts here, and let's take a look through and see what we need to do, if anything. If you didn't watch the stocks to watch video, I highly suggest doing so this week. A lot of good information there about setting up consolidations, trend lines, just having a process. So it's a little long, it's a little longer as usual than I thought it was going to be, but I think there's a lot of good information in there. With that, I did indicate there would be 2 new trades that I would be taking. I'll get those out of the way real quick before I forget, because unfortunately I have no cash left. So if you have cash, these are 2 great trades I think you can very easily take. That seem to be setting up very nicely. These trades obviously need to fit within your portfolio, but again, I don't want you guys to not take trades just because I can't fit them, just based on my cash, and what I have left. I don't have a lot. I think I have maybe $4 grand, $3 grand in cash in the account, and they wouldn't account to full position sizes on any of these, so I'm just going to pass on them and use that money instead to potentially add to positions going down the line. The first one will be Honeywell. Let's take a look here. So we've talked about Honeywell with a stop right under 134.90. Again, give that a little cushion, maybe like 134.50, maybe even 134. I usually take 1% off, so in this case it would be $1.34 from where it's at. So my stop would really be 133.50, maybe. I don't know, I can't do the math, but anyway, and I do that just from a position size, not where I actually get out of the trade, just from a position sizing. This way it accounts for any of the slippage, because we're using closing prices, right? So we know it's going to close below this level. So I usually figure about 1% below that level is where I want to calculate to. But again, a nice clean breakout, nice uptrend in place. Again, industrials are super strong. We talked about that. If you look at the XLI, industrials nice and strong moving forward. Actually, it was over here. All right, so again, Honeywell kind of fits that bill perfectly, and I think that's something that you can add to your portfolio if it works. The other one, HPQ. All right, again, another nice consolidation, a nice breakout. You can see we're breaking out over that 1950 area. Trend line in place, 3 points along the trend line, which is really what we want to have just as a confirmation, and the stop will be right around that 1839 area. So again, I'm not adding them. I wish I could, but I can't, and that's just part of following your rules, and obviously part of math, because you don't have enough money to do so. Besides that, let's take a look at the trades we're already in and see if there's anything that we need to do. The first one, Agilent Technologies. Got in on this breakout back here in the beginning or the end of August, and we've just continued to work higher. Finally seeing some weakness in the stock, so this may want to pull back and give it some rest, but it has had a nice move to this point, and let's see what happens. But right now, stop still way down here, 59.11, and we'll continue to go against that and use that level until we find a new one to use. AVGO. All right, AVGO breaking down from this upper consolidation, but remember, there's a very key point here, and one that used to kind of trip me up here is, even though there was this consolidation, I don't know for a fact that this was the low, correct? And why don't I know that? Well, the fact is, the way I've kind of come to determine when a low is confirmed. So this was a potential low, and then we have a confirmed low, and a confirmed low is when we get a breakout. All right, so I never got a breakout out of this level to confirm that this is a low. So really, this was just the stock moving sideways. So instead, what I'm considering is, here was your move higher, All right, then we had this reversal, and then we had, we had this pullback, and then a move out of that pullback. So that's why our stop is here. We're using a pullback low, all right? And now all it did was, it's just drifting, all right? Because now you could look at it in a different way. Is it doing this? Right? It's very possible that it's just bull flagging, all right, which is another form of consolidation. So in previous times, like when I was just starting, I probably would have got out of this trade already, all right? But now, as my experience has kind of developed, and I'm more willing to sit in a trade and let it work, you know, now I realize, hey, this was just a low that happened to come up on the chart. It doesn't mean anything. It could very well mean that we get stopped out next week. I have no idea. But the point is, just have some kind of rule in place to say, hey, this is just a low that I found versus a confirmed low. And let's see where the stock goes. But remember, this could very well just be one big consolidation, right? It could very easily just do this. So right now, still long, still showing a slight profit, but it's going against us, and we'll see what happens. BRK.B, all right, BRK.B. So we've added to this position multiple times, all right, one, two, well, we got in and we added twice. So now what I'm looking at here in BRK.B, and this is where we go again with the whole idea of a confirmed low versus a real low. So I'm looking at the highest close, which is this bar right here, and the lowest close. All right. So you could use this wick low. You could use these lows here, the lowest closes. All right. But what I'm going to be doing now in BRK.B is I'm actually going to take and move our stop up. Duplicate. All right, to these lows. We could even use like this this big candle here. All right, but I'm going to move that stop up. Oh. I'm not going to add to the position though. I mean, it's a huge position already. But you can see I'm going to really run with this more accelerated trend line now. This trend line can go away. Remove this drawing. All right. And that's our trade now. So if we come back below 175.27, then we'll get out of the trade. All right. And again, the only reason I was able to do that was because now I have a confirmed low because I have a new closing high. All right. And that new closing high is 188. Obviously, I would have loved if it closed up here at 183.71, but a breakout is a breakout nonetheless. And here we are. And because of the big position size I have, I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive with bringing that stop up. And you know, we have a nice gain in this trade, so let's try and keep it. MMC, we added MMC 2 weeks ago. Had last week a little bit of a doji. This week started moving higher once again. All right, so I don't think it's too late to get into this trade if you haven't already. We're not far off from our initial entry. 77, we'll just call it 77, would be that stop. Microsoft, I thought we were going to get a point this week where we were going to have another breakout in Microsoft, but sure enough, not so much. We did move our stop up last week because we had this breakout, but again, didn't add to the position because for me it's a pretty big position. Not looking to add to that, but we did trail our stop up using these closing lows back from the end of July. And here we are breaking out again, a little bit of a retest of that breakout, and we'll see where we go from there. Red Hat, all right, just kind of gone sideways since we've entered, nothing really to do there. RTN just continues to grind higher, and this is one of the reasons I love just trailing stop. When you feel you need to get out of something, like, all right, I'm at the point where I feel like I should be taking half off. It's had such a good run. This is one of those times where you kind of just accept the fact that you're not going to get out at the top, but you know you're going to just continue to trail that stop up, and that's what we've been doing for what now, 4 or 5 weeks, and we just continue to trail stop on half of the position up to the previous closing low. All right, and once this low gets taken out, we'll take half that profit off, and then we'll let the other half run and see what happens. Maybe we get back into it, maybe we don't. But you know, that's why I never like to take profits into like a target or anything like that, because sometimes the stock just runs and runs and runs. And don't get me wrong, there's other times where it doesn't work out like that. But when you start to see this pattern develop where you continue to have new closes or weekly lows that don't close below the previous week's low, just trail them and let it see how far it'll run, and just let it go and go. You know, and that's what we did here in RTN. That's also what we did in UNH. Remember, we went and just let it continue. Sure enough, we got stopped out of half of our position here, and it turned right around and started moving higher. We used that low as our stop on the other half. Almost were taken out this week. Late day rally on Friday kept us in it. So we're still in this trade. All right, it's still in the other half of RTN, and let's see, does it consolidate? Does it turn right around and break down next week? I don't know, but right now I know we took already a $563 profit out of it, 2.72R. Unfortunately, we had a small position. Would have loved to have a bigger position in that one going forward, but you know, it is what it is, and we'll see what happens. So let's switch on over to the other account, BBY. All right, BBY close to getting stopped out this week. It must have had some kind of news. I looked. I think it was something with either anticipated earnings or something. I don't really care. But what looked so promising right before earnings, sure enough, it got taken out. We had a nice pop up, got taken out, but we've held this 53 area, all right, multiple times now. So let's see, does it turn around and reverse higher? You know, again, I don't know, but I can tell you if it breaks below 53 and it closes there, I'm out. CNP. All right, for all the utility names, as we talked about, they kind of got beat up this week. Here's the utilities, the XLU. All right, breaking down. CNP really just looks the same, breaking down. So let's see, do we get back down to trend line, or we come back into this consolidation? I would love to see it bounce off this 29 area, which is previous resistance. Okay, so remember, previous resistance becomes new support. Also happens to coincide pretty nicely with that trend line. But for right now, just stay in the trade and see what happens. CRM, all right, just kind of working. It's not really doing anything special that we need to take account on. DHI, again, thought we were going to get a breakout this week to be able to trail our stop higher. Again, our stop's still down here at 32.50, and this goes back to the same idea of confirmed low or just a low, right? Until we get a breakout and a close above 37.22, I can't trail this stop, and that's my rule. All right, you know, other people may trail to here and get out, and that's up to you. My rule is a new breakout, trail stop. If not, stop stays in the same exact place. All right, EA just continues to work its way sideways. Nothing doing there. FedEx. I think FedEx we can potentially... Oh, so FedEx, we did trail our stop on this pullback. Remember that? And now here we are making a new high in FedEx. So this is one that if you want to go ahead and add to your position, you can do so. All right, 220 to 204, say. So you got 16 bucks. Here you had 203 to 184. So you had like 18 bucks. So you probably can add a few more shares to this trade if you got in when I got in, just based on having an $18 wide stop versus $16 wide. It's probably not going to be much, you know, based on the size of the cost per share. You know, you may add 2 or 3 shares. It's not, for me, something like that's probably not worth the commission that you're going to pay. But again, we have a confirmed breakout, so now we have a confirmed low. We also had that low in from our pullback. Remember, we came down, consolidated, had this nice pop higher. That's when we took and trailed that position up. And again, it's just another industrial that continues to work very well. HIG. All right, so HIG, if this would have closed up in this range here, I would have probably trailed our stop to at least 51.22. I didn't, and you know, we can. You know, this is one of those where it's kind of starting to look a little finicky. We have half a position on, so it's not a lot of money. Let's just trail that stop and use those lows, because that might be something that we, you know, maybe it's like one of those you free up some cash just because there's a little bit in there and it's not really much to. Let's see. So HIG, we're going to trail to 51. All right, trail stop to 51. This low here. You know, again, I would have much rather seen it close up in the 55 area. But considering what it's done and now where it is, I think, you know, we can very well consider this to be a nice pullback and a spot to trail our stop up. ICE, again, lows, and you know what we're perceiving to be the low at 64 is in place, but it's not confirmed until we get a move over these wick highs at 67.50. All right, again, if you were using closing lows, we're at a new breakout. But for me, because we have these 3 wicks, I think those are important and something that you can't necessarily just disregard. So I'll be using that as the high of the consolidation. JPM, let's see. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4 little wicks. And if you kind of find 2 that match, which would be these 2, so use that as your high, find your most recent low. And this is a perfect, you know, actually let's take a minute to look at this, because this is a perfect example of what I'm trying to probably not say as well as I think I am. If we look at just this, let's see. All right, so my point is, you know, here you have what you perceive to be a low, right? You have 1, 2, 3, 4 wicks. So you could have very easily drawn your box like that. All right, and then said, okay, well, it broke below it and I got stopped out. Well, that's true, but this was never a confirmed low because you didn't get that breakout. All right, so now what's happened is you had to look below and fail. All right, so look below this level, which everybody else is looking at. You're not the only one that sees this. All right, so it's look below 90 bucks. And what happened? Well, it closed at the lows and all of a sudden it turned right back around. All right, so this is my point. Because you never got that breakout, this is just what everybody else is looking at. All right, it's just a low that everybody else is trading off of. It's not the guys that are trading weekly charts. It's probably the guys that are trading the daily charts, and they keep seeing, oh, at 90 bucks it bounces. I'm buying at 90. I'm buying at 90. I'm buying at 90. And then finally, that 90 doesn't hold, and everybody dumps stock. All right, and everybody that dumps those shares that they were accumulating at 90 bucks, that's why you get this little look below. But then people like us, right? They're saying, oh, well, if you zoom out, this came right into trend line. Right? Did it not? It comes right back into a trend line support. And then people that are on the weekly chart are saying, all right, I'm buying at the weekly chart. And sure enough, it's a look below because the daily guys are moving it around. And then it's a fail because now the big money's stepping in and saying, I'm buying that trend line. All right. And we're trying to follow the big money. I don't care what the day traders do. All right. You know, back in the day, I would have probably shorted this, right? Not even realizing, right? Because I'm looking at a daily chart. I'm seeing probably a consolidation right in here, a failure. I'm getting short. And, you know, needless to say, I'm wrong. Fact is, I'm wrong. All right. So this is my point. You got to kind of just let the stocks work and use those confirmations of your breakouts to set your stops. That's when you get a confirmation of a breakout, that's when you're going to trail stop. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, well, the highs are right here, but the low is really right here. And here's our breakout to confirm that low. This breakout confirms this low. What do? We take and we trail our stop up. Okay, so our stop goes from 82.70 to 88.50. All right, and we're going to make this. And now you have the opportunity to add to that low or add to that position. All right, so screw it. Let's take a look at. Let's take a quick look. We'll go into the. I got a lot of stuff in here. This is some other stuff I'm playing with, but if we go to our position calculator All right, we're gonna put in JPM. And again, if you guys want a copy of this, just let me know. I'll try and figure out how to email it. JPM, our new stop, and again, it's not a huge breakout, but it's a breakout, is 88.50. Let's call it 88.50. And again, you could see my adjusted stop, which I could talked about. I don't know if it was in this video or the other one, is about at 1% lower. So that's telling me, what is this? This is me and Ange. So I should have 60 shares. All right. So in my account, I should have 30. In my wife's account, I should have 20. So we have a total of 45. All right. So instead, I should have, what did I say? 60. So I could add 15 shares right here and keep my position size the same. All right. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll just do it with you now. Let's see if I even have the cash to do it. Let's say we want to add 15. We're going to buy at the market. We're going to do multiple accounts. We're going to do Steve and Ange. I don't even have the cash to do it. I'll add 5 and 5. I could add more than that. 7. How much is it here? So out of the 15, I'll add 12. So I'm going to buy 12 more shares, another $1,100. And that pretty much, you can see I have no cash, right? Jack actually has some cash. Send. That went to all accounts. Steve. All right, so I'm going to buy 7 more shares. So that'll give me a total. So I'm really increasing my position by another 30%. So that's the way I look at it. Is you know, if it was 15 shares on like a position size that already had 150 shares, I wouldn't do it. But because it's like more than 25-30%, then I'll add to it. All right, and that's going to be my new stop. So you just saw me work through an entire trade, right? That's what I do. This is it. And we move on. It'll enter on Monday morning. It's Saturday morning at 9:37. That trade will just fire off Monday morning, and I'll just continue to monitor it, right? And then we're just going to add this over here, so I remember to come back and actually we're just going to add to the position. All right, so that's the way you do it. And you know, what started out as a lower position. We assume that because we were buying on this breakout that we were going to hit some kind of resistance at the 93.88 area, you know, and again, you know, you want to make that be your high. Well, then it looks like a better breakout. All right, so 93.88. We're going to buy 12 more shares just because I don't have enough cash to buy it all, but it is what it is. JPM, I'm sorry, Netflix. Netflix, where's my stuff? All right, so we took half of Netflix off, pulled back, and now we are grinding higher. We're back up to those highs. You can see we hit some resistance. Not surprising, right? Think about it. You had all these people selling. You had some people buying right here, saying, okay, I'm buying that pullback. We got a confirmed move above the previous week's high. All right, buy that pullback. Stop is here, 164. Well, where's your initial target? Well, my target is back at the highs. All right, so not surprising to see people dumping some shares here. Again, that's the day traders. Those are the people that, you know, they're looking to be in these stocks for a few weeks and that's it. That's not us. All right, that's not me. It may be you, but that's not me. So, yeah, I'm seeing some resistance here, but I'm also seeing consolidation form. And it's very simple, or it's very possible that maybe Netflix consolidates between like 189 and like 180 for the next few weeks and then breaks out higher, gives us an opportunity to trail our stop up and then add to that position. And finally, Tesla, ugly week, just like Best Buy, ugly week. But what did it do? You know, again, people that are buying down here at like 356 out of this breakout, well, where's my target? My target's the highs. And sure enough, here we are at the highs. And then everybody dumped their stock. And if you were the last one holding the bag, you know, you had to take that round trip. And trust me, we've been there. People have done it. That's why I can't. You know, I've said it many times. I try. You know, you guys saw in that chart, in that spreadsheet. You know, I'm trying to do this or that. But the only one that's ever really been super consistent is just sticking with the weekly chart, and yet I don't get the gains. You know, I'm not returning 50% a year, but I'm pretty consistent. So, and I take the consistency over 50% gains versus 25% losses. You know, that's a roller coaster to me. It's a tough way to trade, tough way to live, and you know, I'd rather have the nice consistent gains, 15-20% a year for the rest of my life, and then have 50 and 25% losses alternating. So that's it for this week. Again, another long one, but I hope you guys really got some good information out of it. If you like this video, leave a comment below, send me an email, let me know you're alive, give me a thumbs up, and we'll talk to you next time. All right, take care, guys.